All right, guys. So I've had a process of as I'm building my brewery and how it works. So I'm going to run you through how to add a controller piece and set up a temperature probe and stuff like that. I'm going to do it pretty quick, but you'll see how really easy and slick it is. So right now I have three parts of my brewery integrated, two fermentation chambers and a spun chamber, and I still have yet to get my lagering chambers set up. But so right here is the chamber temperature sensor that's in the fermentation chamber. Right here is the wort temperature sensor. Right here is the temperature graph in real time. Right here is going to be the tilt integration, so it'll give me my real-time gravity. Right down here is where I actually set my temp. Right now, my target is 40 degrees. The wort is 39.87. If I click on that, I can automatically set the temp to whatever I'd like there. If I want to manually turn the fridge on and cool, I can do that. If I want to manually heat the fridge, I can do that. And basically I have that for there and there on the second chamber. On the spun chamber, right now I actually have some beers that I spunded and are dropping down to lagering temp. So no need for gravity here. It's just a bigger temperature graph, and it's telling us that it's on. The target is 32 degrees, and the chamber is 25, and the beer is 33. Again, I can manually heat or cool, or I can just leave it automated as it is right here, and it'll just sit there and hold temp. So how does it all work? So since I had brew pies, I had Arduino Uno little controllers. I think they're like $8 on Amazon, and basically I have these connected via USB to a USB hub, and that's exactly how they integrate. I basically pulled the Raspberry Pi off of the Uno and just connected the Uno directly to the brewery controller here, or brew control here. So basically, how do you do that? The first thing you do is you take your controller, you plug it into your computer that runs brew control. It could be any computer, and it'll automatically recognize it via USB, and it'll assign it a serial port. So you click the cog wheel here, and you can see that I have these things connected right now. Top, bottom, lagering, and brewery controller. You want to name these because when you start adding them in the program, if they just have generic names, it'll get hard to follow. But basically what you do, the first thing you do is you'll plug this into the computer, and it'll auto-assign a serial port. And then you run a software program that you download at Brew Control, which is really easy. You just double-click it, and then it asks you what you want to do. You click Install Firmware, and then it'll ask you what kind of board you have, and you select it, you hit any key. It literally takes less than 30 seconds. Once you have that done, then you would just simply go to Add, and you can give it a name, and you can say Lagering 2, and you select the board again. It's going to be an Uno. The connection, I don't have one, but if I picked one, it would come up here and say Available, so you know which one is which. I'll just say COM8, and then it auto does that, and then you click that. If it is connected, it'll automatically connect here, and that's it. That's how you, and if you have Wi-Fi or anything like that, you would do the board. Let's see. We'll do Omega, and right here it says network TCP, so you would enter in the IP address of the unit. Simple as that. Once it's in, it'll give you a green check mark and tell you connected. And then once that's in, you can start adding stuff. So let's say we want to add a temperature probe. We come over here, click the list kind of button, click Add Device. We select the interface, whichever controller we want to use. I know that Lagering 2 isn't connected, but we'll use that as a demo. And then every port on these controllers is labeled. And then the 200s is the one-wire temperature sensors, which is what I use. When you select 200, it's automatically going to tell you it's a one-wire input. You click Create Device, and then you give it a name. We'll call it Lagering to Chamber. And then you want to click Enable, because then that'll turn it on. Right here is the sensor index, and generally the first sensor you connect is 0, the next is 1, 2, 3, and so on. There's an easy way to make sure you got it right. If there's no temperature displayed on 0, click 1, click Apply, see if it's there. Right now it's telling me offline because it hasn't connected yet. I like to add a couple decimal places, and then I like to put F after it, and there it goes. So I'll click on a one I've already added, and I'll kind of show you. I named it, I enabled it. It's sensor number 1. For calibration, I added 2 digits and an F, and then for appearance, I just you have tons of configuration options. Interface is where it's coming from. So that's that one. So that's as simple as it gets for a temperature probe, and then you just click, hold down, and you can move it over here. You can change your colors. You can do whatever you want to do and place it anywhere in this workspace. Everything else is added the same way. You want to add a timer, an alarm, a graph, any variables, a button, a switch, or if you want to control a device that you want to use a PID or a Hysterius or a PWM. It's as simple as finding the right pinout. Let's just choose 6 for now, and you have the option to do a simple input or output, duty cycle output, anything, analog outs, anything like that. You just tell it what you want to do. If it's a digital input, you'll input the data. If it's an output, you'll literally just, turn on a solid state relay or some kind of relay, just a simple on-off. Duty cycle is, you can run it at 100% or not. Hysterius is, it's going to have a set point, and when the temperature rises above or below the set point, it'll either turn on or off. PID control is what we know. It's a PID. PWM is going to be your digital kind of DC modulation. So that's as simple as that. Let's say a PWM, and then we get to name it. We can enable it. We can allow control of it, and we can say, we want to run it at 80 point. Let's see. We can run it at 50% or whatever we want to do, and we can always change that and adapt that and do whatever we need to do. So for the serving and fermentation side, it's really easy. It shows you it's on, and it's going to cool to that temperature and shut off. The brewery side is definitely going to be more complicated as far as processes and scripts, but we haven't got there, so we don't have to worry about that. On the serving side, it's a blank canvas, but all my kegerators that I have in service are going to get little devices as well, and they'll integrate in here along with flow sensors, so I'll be able to see people's beer levels and monitor that and know when they're getting low or how much beer they've poured. So as far as today, my playing around with today, I added these three guys, and it was pretty straightforward, and I think it looks super neat, and it works phenomenal. So we'll talk to you later.